Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sayyidina. How are you?
Assalam, Ahmed. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. So for this topic, or this question, I should say, is how do I become pious? What is piety? Can you introduce this? Tell us a little bit about piety.
How do you become pious?
How do we all become pious?
Yeah, I think it's a journey that we all are on. But I think it's a word that is often thrown and not really reflected upon much. We always hear it used interchangeably with faith, belief, goodness, righteousness, right? So what is piety? What's piousness? How can I become more pious? I think we can look into the etymology, the definition, and there's always a religious connotation associated with just the term pious or piety. In my knowledge, the definition focuses on a great devotion and respect or admiration to God or religion. So clearly to me, that rings iman, right? Faith. Having, in one way, by the way, Tawakul as well. Reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I think the best way to bring it into the Islamic lexicon is with the word ikhlas, mukhlis, mukhlisin. So how do I become more pious? I.e., how do I become more mukhlis? And then it's just another definition game. So what is a mukhlis? Let's look at the word khalis. Khullas. We always hear, for example, that the companions of Imam Hussein are the khullas of the ashab, or from the people at the time, min an-nas, the special, pure. The term khalis means pure. So filtered. When you filter gold, after you extract it, it has all these other components, rock or whatever, carbon. Burn it, get it out. It's pure. Khalis, purity. That takes us to another term, tahara, purification. So there's these terms I feel that can just fit in that broad definition of piety and pious. So definitely I want to become more pious then.
So you kind of reference us as like we're gold on the inside, or like the diamonds, you brush off all the rough off of it and then the diamond shines.
I wouldn't say we're all diamonds or golds. There's definitely a couple like granite, hard-hearted, right? But no, I think the idea should be seen the same, that a believer is like gold, right? The more difficulties they go through in their life, more heat and pressure life throws at you, that actually is a very good thing, because you end up shining at the end of it. Similar to how fine jewels and rocks, you got to remove the impurities to make them pure. Such a beautiful example the Quran gives us regarding to the Ahlul Bayt. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa Muhammad. Allah wants to, and I've seen a lot of people, by the way, they bring this argument. They say, oh, Allah wants to, not Allah has done. So when we speak about purity of Ahlul Bayt, and we kind of use this as a reference for infallibility and asma, because look, they're pure, Allah has purified them. Well, hold on, Allah says He wants to purify them. The want of Allah happens. Nothing can stop Allah from achieving what He wants. The irada of Allah is hukum. Innama yurid, the irada, the want of Allah will 100% happen. I might want something, but it won't necessarily happen. But if I want something and I have the capability to get it accomplished, it's going to happen. Does Allah have any obstacles? No, He's going to make it happen. So when Allah says, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ, wants to remove from you all forms of impurities, أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ. Now here's another issue, by the way, because we're talking from piety to mukhlis, ikhlas, purity, tahara, and then Ahl al-Bayt. Allah says, remove from you impurities. So are there impurities that Allah has to remove from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyid al-Zahra, al-Hasan al-Hussein, Rasulullah? These are all Ahl al-Bayt. Such that God needs to remove them in order to purify them.
Or is He keeping them away from impurities?
Allah is removing the fire, or at least stopping the fire from reaching this house. As the fire burns from one to the other, this one right here is safeguarded. يذهب عنكم, not minkum. Not from you, but away from you. So it's not in your home, this rijs, this impurity, this defilement. The more appropriate way to describe rijs. Not from you there is, but prevent it from getting to you. Ankum, the etymology, the terms are very specific here. وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ, so they're already pure. وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Not a once, but a thorough purification. That's just pure isma and infallibility suddenly. Just that ayah. Hence why it's called ayat al-tathir. So I want to become more like that. That archetype of purity is what I want to achieve. That is ultimate piety, piousness, tahara, ikhlas, mukhlisin, etc. Even shaitan, la'natullah alayhi, says a nice sentence. He says, I will make it my life journey to misguide and to bring about evil and distractions upon your servants. إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ, except your servants, not all of them. From among the servants, the mukhlasin of them, I can't. Yani there's a group of believers, shaitan cannot misguide or sway. Those are infallible. Someone that shaitan cannot misguide is what is an infallible. Fallible to error and sin? No, infallible. To any error, any sin, any mistake. Shaitan can't touch them, can't approach them. How do I become more like that? I think the whole analogy of gold is just spot on, to be honest with you. There are going to be struggles in life that are very necessary and important. That analogy shows us there are necessary difficulties that are healthy. I may not like it, but I have to do it despite my wants and my urges because I need it. In life, these obstacles that are thrown our direction should be seen as a blessing. If we were trying to establish a haram institution, it would be done very easily. The means of acquiring funds are as easy as applying for a loan. You don't even have to have the money. Everyone loves a club in their area, a place where they can hang out at night, a bar, etc. But if I wanted to build a masjid, I won't have complaints from the non-Muslim only. I'll have it from Muslims. Oh, another masjid.
Unfortunately.
This, that. Don't we have a whatever? A place, a scary building. What methodologies, what ideologies do you adopt, etc. This is a house of Allah. You'll find so many obstacles. A lot of them. Why? Because now you have waged war against shaitan. Shaitan doesn't want to see anything work in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's going to make it harder. These obstacles are going to purify your nafs. They're difficult, but you have to go through them. If I want to be in top peak physical condition as you are, yeah, Ahmed, I need to work my socks off at the gym. I might not like you, but you are always going to beat the person that doesn't want to go and ends up not going. When you adopt the attitude of, I don't want to go, but I'm still going to do it despite not wanting to go, you will always end up succeeding. That in life stays the same golden rule. I want to work towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's going to be hard. The fact that it's hard is a blessing, because that heat that I feel and experience, that difficulty is like the purification process of gold. Now, I can take this back to the events of Karbala and look at any moment, and it's literally the most difficult, arduous, tumultuous, painful moment. But now look how literally the golden dome of Imam Hussein shines. Where the heck is the grave of Yazid ibn Muawiyah? No one even knows. That struggle is like the most beautiful form of radiance a person can attain. So maybe these difficulties I shouldn't complain about if I see them in my life. If I adopt them, I don't necessarily need to be looking for trouble, but if I embrace them as my jihad, I end up becoming more purified, i.e. more pure, i.e. more pious. Piety. Another definition is heavy reliance on God. Tawakul. Okay, because these terms are always thrown around in the discussion, the rhetoric of what it means to be a Muslim, an ideal Muslim, piety, pious. What exactly are we talking about? One term, one way is Tawakul ala Allah. Now we always hear that term. What exactly does that mean? Have reliance on Allah. Meaning, put 100% of your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That does not mean you can just now relax and become complacent. No. Put all your effort, exert all your effort, but ultimately acknowledge that it's in Allah's hands. Whether it works out, whether it doesn't work out. Whether perhaps a marriage situation, a prospect, a business ambition, this or that, moving, these major decisions in life that a person would typically take istikhara for. These circumstances, consulting the Holy Quran. If you find yourself in that situation, number one, exert all your efforts in trying to make it happen physically. Just work your socks off. At the same time, have tawakkul ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not 99%, 100%. 100% tawakkul is pure piety, pure piousness. Why? Because you're relying on Allah. Tawakkul from the root wakil. Again, back to Karbala. We can look at the representative of Imam Hussein, his wakil, Muslim ibn Aqil. Because Imam Hussein had full trust in him, he dispatches him to represent him. I will not relax knowing that the person I sent to represent me represents me 80% of the way. So there's a 20% chance they're going to say something completely nonsensical and we lose this deal. Thanks a lot, man. Well, you didn't know your work. You had no idea what was going on. I couldn't go myself, so I had to send you to represent me. So for example, sometimes in marriages, this goes on, where one side of the party will visit the other side. The fathers who meet or whatever, right? Say, for example, a person doesn't have that father figure, so they send their older brother to go sit with her family. Let's just say, right? We're just bringing a theoretical example, but it's very common and relative. This guy goes to meet her family. Your brother, he got you because he knows you completely. He knows what to say. He knows how to make you look great. You go and attend, but you don't talk much. You don't want to come across as someone who just boastful, loquacious, talks too much about themselves. This is the first family meeting in weddings, and all of us guys will go through this moment. In weddings or in the process of getting married, rather. So this person is speaking for your sake. That's why many people bring scholars with them to meet the other side as well. Let them do the talking. Why? Because you just relax, put your trust in them. How about I send someone that doesn't know me too well? They're going to say something so stupid. Oh yeah, and they also like playing Xbox. Okay, what the heck? Who are we marrying our daughter to? A Twitch streamer? Or what is this, man? No hate to streamers or anything like that. But you want someone that knows you and has full knowledge and transparency. And there's an assurance. You're just like relaxed. You know that they got your back, 100% trust.
Well, give like your best qualities to these people.
Exactly,
yeah.
And they know you completely.
Yeah.
So the way it goes with Imam Hussein and his cousin, Muslim ibn Aqil, is he says, I'm sending my cousin, but he gives him a description. إِنِّي قَدْ بَعْتُ لَكُمْ أَخِي وَابْنَ عَمِي وَثِقَتِي مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي. I have dispatched to you, O people of Kufa, to verify whether what you are sending to me as letters of allegiance and calling me and requesting that I come and rule over you in Kufa, my cousin, my brother, and the most reliable and trustworthy from my Ahl al-Bayt, Muslim ibn Aqil ibn Abi Talib. Immediately, Muslim ibn Aqil, his title is the Wakil of Imam al-Hussein. Immediately, Wakala becomes synonymous with trust. So now I start saying, Tawakkaltu ala Allah. Yeah, but did you really put 100% trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You don't know the pilot, yet you are so relaxed on that plane. You don't know the train driver, yet you are so chill. Okay. You, in the process of life, you know Allah, yet you're so worried about everything. Chill, man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got this. And on the plane, you don't care. The bus that has 50 people on it. The limo, the boat that you're on, the cruise. Well, you know the pilot's name? Do you know their age? Do you know their experience? No, you don't. But you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very well. خالق الخلق أحسن الخالقين رب العالمين. But you're so worried what's going to happen. Have tawakkul. Tawakkul ala Allah is the most polite way of saying chill out. Just chill. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got this. But you have to put 100% trust. Because if you put 99, there's always that 1% and you're not going to be settled. It's going to be uneasy. What if this? What if that? What if? Habibi, there are no what ifs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabbul Alameen, if you just put all your trust in Him, make Him your wakil, make Him your trust, then life should go. But you should exert all your efforts. I'qal wa tawakkal. The hadith of the Holy Prophet of Islam, that sometimes you tie the camel, then tawakkal ala Allah. You can't just leave the camel hanging and stranded. No one's going to bother it. No one's going to steal it. No, do your part, tie it, then tawakkal ala Allah. Sayyidah Maryam, what happens with her is that she's in the situation where she's about to give birth and she's so scared. Her anxiety is killing her. And she says, how I wish I was nothing. وَكُنْتُ نَسِيًّا مَنْسِيًّا. I've just forgotten. No one remembers me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to her, shake the trunk of the palm tree. وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. Shake that, dates will fall. Yani Ya Rabbil Alameen, you created everything. You can't just send her a loaf of bread. You want her to shake it to get the thing? Yeah, do your bit. I don't care if you're a lady, neglected, stranded, about to give birth. Society's going to ridicule the heck out of you. You're a chaste lady. Your dad wasn't like this. Your mom wasn't oppressive. How do you have a baby like this? You still have to put some effort. In life, you have to put effort. She put the effort, but what else does she have at the same time? 100% yaqeen. 100% tawakkul ala Allah. That is absolute 100% piety. Mukhlisa. What does Allah say regarding her, for example? Inna Allah astafaki wa taharaki wa astafaki ala nisa al-alam. Allah has purified you, chosen you, and chosen you upon all the women of your time. Ikhlas, that's piety, that's absolute piety. So now we notice that there are two elements in this beautiful definition that's always just thrown around. You have the effort that needs to be exerted. You got to do your bit. You can't just say, Ya Allah, why don't you help me? Why don't you move? Then you also have to have tawakkul. There's a biblical story, and I think there are nice moments that you can reflect on in the Old Testament here. There's this event that happened where Nabi Musa is trying to guide a man to come with him, if I remember clearly, to avoid Pharaoh. And the man says, no, I just put my faith in God and God will take care of it. He's like, yeah, but when Pharaoh comes, whatever, what's going to happen? He's like, God, God, God. He comes back, he tries to guide him. He's like, I don't need you, I need God. It's the whole idea, by the way, of people who are saying, why do I need to go through these individuals? Just go to God directly. And if Allah, last I checked, didn't talk to you, He sent you a prophet. Why don't you use the same prophet and his family to go back to God? He's like, no, you just talk to God directly. You can't talk to Allah directly. But last I checked, to get to the big man, you have to go through his secretary first. You want to go to the president, you got to go through his people first. You got to go through this and that first. There's a whole process. The top person knows you exist, acknowledges, is in charge of what you're going through. But how close are you to them? Such that when you do speak, they do listen, but they'll give you what you want. Maybe you can use an intermediary. Look, I'm not as close to Allah as you are, Ya Rasulullah. So for my sake, Allahumma inni as'aluka wa atawajjahu ilayka bi nabiyik. Oh Allah, I ask you and I seek nearness to you from your Prophet, Nabi al-Rahmah, for example. And here we go with dua tawassul suddenly. I can use all the Ahlul Bayt because I know they're closer to Allah than me. This guy says, why do I need to use you, Moses? I just use Allah directly. If the trouble comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help me. Then Musa begins to tell him a nice story. He's like, there was a guy. This guy, he found himself in a situation where a flood came. People came and told him, get on our boat. He's like, God will help me. They left. Suddenly, he's in the water and he's trying to stay afloat. Another boat came. It's like, hey, get in. He's like, no, God, only God can help me. Then, right before he was about to drown, a third boat came and extended the hand. It's like, just grab it. He's like, no, God. He drowned and he died. He meets God after he's died. And he's like, why didn't you help me? He's like, I sent you 3 boats. I sent you 3 boats and you rejected. Said, God will help me. These were not signs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants your faith in Him completely. But Allah doesn't want complacency. Work, then go. Believe, then a'mal. This synchronization is so beautiful.
It's like taking a test in school, you know.
So beautiful, yeah.
People, they're just like, oh, I'll just make dua and I'll pass my test.
Exactly. Where were you?
And they won't study.
You should have studied, man. It's common sense, isn't it?
Make dua and study then.
It's common sense, exactly. Hi, that doesn't mean, by the way, that you did make dua and you did study, that you will 100% pass. Doesn't mean that, no. These could be healthy reminders and moments for you to reflect on. Maybe your studying wasn't the most adequate. And I love this combination of belief and action. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. We're all doomed. And Allah swears using time. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Except those who believe and do good. Yeah, and it's not enough just to have belief. Ya subhanallah. Go figure. I have iman, I don't care. Let the whole world burn. Let that side of the world imprison other defenseless Muslims. Let Muslims get persecuted. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Why? If there's an event, a charitable campaign, pitch in, do something. You have iman, mashallah alaik. But the world is begging for help. And Rasulullah would say, "Man sami'a munadiyan yunadi wa lam yajibhu falaysa bi Muslim." Whoever hears a person screaming for help and doesn't help them is not a Muslim. And he didn't say, "Man sami'a musliman, man sami'a shi'iyan, man sami'a sunniyan, man sami'a munadiyan yunadi." Whoever hears a person screaming for help, help me, and doesn't reply is not a Muslim. Dang, that's heavy. That's very heavy. Suddenly now there's a responsibility alongside my faith and my iman. Action. You have to put these all together. That is how you will change the world. And Allah will not change a society. حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah will not change a society until they begin to change themselves. Sometimes you might have proper belief, proper theology, but if it's never manifested, what good is that theology? It's never put into action. You're just told stories. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We serve and we give and we provide food to you for the sake of Allah. We don't want any thanks. We don't want anything. Ahlul Bayt, when they fasted for 3 days and each time they wanted to break their fast, someone came and asked for food and they just didn't eat. What are these, just stories? Or do I need to reflect on them and see where I can manifest that into my life? That is, in my humble opinion, the most optimal, beautiful way to manifest the quality of piety. To see these obstacles as a form of purification, to become pious, to remove impurities. To get as close as possible to the archetype that is Ahlul Bayt. To couple your belief, your tawakkul, with action as well. Through that, we can inshallah ta'ala achieve absolute piousness and piety.
Inshallah. I always felt that piety was just, something that just it just happened,
Right.
If you just believe it, you'll achieve it. But it seems like there's a lot that kind of goes into it. But the way you describe it is, there's a lot of things that we can go through to reach this pious nature, or, looking at our role models, the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, or, whatever it may be, all the things that you just described. This is what it takes to be pious, to combine all of these factors, and inshallah we can reach that level of piety that our Imam
We ask Allah to make us from the mukhlaseen, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Sayyidina, for your wonderful, informative lecture on this. And inshallah, we will talk again soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa rahmatullah, habibi. Thank you.